to the Sparkle of Hope Theatre Company channel. This is my wonderful friend Charlie.
Hi!
Charlie, what are you going to be teaching us today?
Today I'm going to be teaching you about photography.
Now, Charlie is a brilliant photographer. She's got lots of experience doing all sorts of things. I've done some work with her and it's been really, really fun. So she's very talented. I might even put in some little clips of some of her photos here. So yeah, get your cameras ready or your phones with a camera on and get ready to go. But before we start, Charlie, can you give us a fun fact about yourself?
I will give me a fun fact about myself. Okay, so a little fun fact about my photography first, I think could be really interesting to viewers. I actually create a lot of fantasy work. So I work with a lot of fairies and elves a lot of the time. I remember when we made you into a fairy and that was a really, really fun time, wasn't it?
That was really fun.
Fun fact about myself is that I grew up in New Zealand, which is on the other side of the world. That's exciting.
That's really cool. And now you live in?
London.
Bit different to New Zealand, especially at the moment.
Yeah, bit different.
Well, Charlie, what is our Kickstarter activity to kick us off with the photography workshop?
Okay, so our Kickstarter activity, I want you guys to think about finding things within a shot that maybe you wouldn't find in real life. So I want to encourage you to go outside and to take a picture of the sky. And particularly if it's got clouds and it's a lovely cloudy day, take pictures of the sky and of the clouds and see if you can find any shapes within that picture that might resemble something else. I've done a version myself. Emma's going to put it here, just to see what you can find. I've got a picture of the sunset and I found that in the horizon there's like lovely little birds that I've put on top of the power lines. So that's something I've created out of something that wasn't there before.
I think of the word shot and I think of like a gunshot, but I'm guessing that's not what you're talking about. What's a shot?
A shot is nothing to do with gunshots at all. A shot is when you take a photograph of something. So a shot is the word for a photo.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, brilliant. So they're going to go and take a picture or a shot of the sky and then find something in the shot that wasn't there before.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, if you want to pause the video now and go and give that a go. Okay, the next thing, Charlie, is lessons from the pros. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got into photography? Where did it all start and how did it become this amazing little business that you've created now where you go and take amazing photos?
Sure, I can. So I started doing photography when I was a little bit older. I was 16 and I was just taking pictures with my dad's camera. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I loved the idea of taking pictures of flowers because I'm really into kind of like flowers and colour and seasons. So I was taking pictures of flowers and I realised how much I loved taking photographs of things. And I kind of evolved that into working with people and working with models. And now I run a photography company in London. I work with lots of fairies and elves to kind of create fantasy shots, and that's kind of what I do. From when I used to love looking at fairy books when I was younger, it's kind of what inspired me to do that. Yeah.
That's really cool. So lots of like creating magical worlds.
Absolutely. It's exactly what it is.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Charlie.
Yeah.
So Charlie, with this amazing big project that you've kind of come on in this company you've created, what kind of equipment do you use? Because I have a camera, but is there anything else that you use and how do you know what's a good camera to use? Can you give us some tips on the equipment maybe?
Sure, I can. So I've been using cameras for quite a while now. So I kind of know a little bit more about what I'm doing with a big camera, but
Yeah.
if I say I recommend to you when you're starting out, I recommend something that's really easy to use. And that could be as simple as using your iPad camera or using your mum's phone camera or your dad's phone camera or even if you've got your own phone to use that. There's also some really good starter cameras to get if you were thinking about moving on from that. Maybe if you wanted to get something for, you know, for your birthday or for Christmas or whatever you celebrate, maybe getting a Nikon Coolpix W100 camera. They're really good, really easy to use, and it's just click of a button and you're taking really nice pictures. So that's a really good starter camera to use. I really recommend it. Yeah.
Brill, that's really good to know. Thanks, Charlie. Okay, next thing that we're going to do is the quickfire create. What is that, the quickfire create for today?
So the quickfire create challenge, I want you guys to think about framing, and framing essentially with photography is looking at what you're going to put in your photograph. So what objects do you want to put in? What people do you want to put in? And what's going to be kind of the most important thing that you put in that frame. I want you guys to think about creating a physical frame and then putting that around objects, maybe within your house. So here I've got a piece of A4 paper, and what I've done is I'm folding it in half, okay, like this. And then I'm taking a pair of scissors, and you're very careful, these are very sharp, and I'm taking this in about 1 centimetre in, and I'm cutting up, and I'm cutting out a sort of a rectangle shape. I'll just show you here. And I've created a frame. Yay! So what I kind of would like you guys to do would be to take this frame and to put it up anywhere kind of within your house and see what you can kind of isolate or keep within this frame. And then take a picture of that and see what, you know, you can kind of create in terms of little scenes and little things like that, and play around with that. I also want you to look at what objects within that scene are kind of more in the foreground and what's in the background. You'll notice that the objects that are closer to you in that frame become more important, I think, or at least more clear within that frame.
So a foreground is when it's closer to the camera, and then the background is the stuff that's further away from the camera.
Exactly it,
okay.
Yeah. And usually as photographers, the things that are most important, we put in the foreground of the frame because we want the people to see that first. But you can also experiment with things that are in the background as well.
Cool. So when they're doing their quickfire create, if they wanted to link it to their story, I suppose they could think about which characters and which pieces of set and props and things they could put in those frames as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And we'll get to that with the big challenge later, where we'll think about that a little bit more. But we could start to think about maybe what characters and what scenes we're creating within that frame and what exists within that own little world that we're playing with there. So yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. So for the quickfire create, you can go and snip away and create that frame that Charlie made and have an investigate and see what you can put into it. So click pause and go and give that a go. Now we're going to hear about Charlie's teacher's top tips. So Charlie, what would you say are your top 3 tips for our budding photographers?
My 3 tips. Okay, so firstly, I think you should think about lighting. Lighting is the most important part of photography, in my opinion. So when we're thinking about lighting, we need to think about what we're going to be illuminating or putting light on when we're thinking about subjects. So, for example, if we're using models, we've got to think about how we're going to light the model's face. For example, a really easy way of thinking about lighting is if you go up to your window in your house and you stand in front of your window, there is light coming onto your face and you can see your face very clearly. If you were to stand away from your window, there would be light coming in your background and you wouldn't be able to see your face very clearly. That would be an example of bad lighting. Whereas we want to use good lighting and we want to be able to see the face correctly. So if we're wanting experimenting with lighting in a good way, we're wanting the light to face the model or face the object that we're using. We can experiment with that in different ways, where we can put the lighting off to the side and using different shadows to create more of a dramatic effect. But if you're wanting to light your model from the front to get a really clear sense of their face, then I'd say use a soft light from the front. A soft light, when I use the word soft light, I mean that it's less harsh than a direct light. And direct light would be something like a lamp, or maybe the light in your room. Whereas a soft light would be something like a window, where it's more natural light. It's coming from the daytime. If that makes any sense.
Okay, I see. So I suppose a window is like a big light that's widespread out, whereas like this lamp that I've got is just like a really small, like all of the light comes from this one place.
It's exactly that.
Okay,
exactly.
I see. So lighting is the first top tip to consider, making sure that whatever you're taking a photo of has got enough light on it.
Exactly. Just a quick tip is, there's a perfect type of day which photographers call golden hour. And golden hour is the perfect time of day to take photos, because that is the time of sunset when the lighting is softest and is kind of golden. And it's kind of this magical we like to use. And it works really well for photographs. So if you're super lucky and can wait till the end of the day to take your photographs, then that's the perfect time to take photographs.
Cool, so that's really good to know. And then what's the second top tip?
Second top tip is to focus on storytelling. So as we've kind of looked at with the previous episodes that Emily's done, we've looked at, you know, costume and acting and creating stories and what that can do. You'll equally need to do that when you're thinking about photography. So I think I really want to encourage you guys to think about that.
So what story can you tell through the picture?
Exactly, yeah.
Brilliant.
Definitely.
And then what's the final top tip?
My final top tip is think about angles rather than just having it as one directional, like I'm sitting that, like Emily and I are sitting right now, where we're sitting facing the camera. Think of maybe, is there a different angle I could use to get more of the action that's happening, or just a different perspective of what I'm taking a photograph of. So maybe if we were to think about moving your camera into landscape mode or moving it into portrait mode, thinking about it like that, which different ways can I angle my camera to get a slightly different perspective of what I'm looking at.
And I suppose you can angle yourself as well. So if this is your stage, you can try taking a photo sat from here, but you could also try taking a photo sat from over here. So moving where you are in the scene. So I guess there's two types of angles, the angle of the camera and then the angle of yourself.
Exactly. And using your body to kind of crouch or get low and think about different perspectives. You know, you could even lie on the floor and take a photograph from there, or you could safely stand on a chair and think about different angles from above. You know, have a little play. Yeah.
They're really good tips. Thanks, Charlie. Now is the exciting time for the big project. What is the big project going to be for today?
The big project is we're going to be looking at world building and creating little scenes within photography. And I've got a video to kind of demonstrate that, and Emily will play that now.
So what you're going to need to find is a toy anywhere around your house. Try and set the scene. I've used a blanket to look like snow. Next, find a key lighting source. Use anything you can find. Try maybe using the light on your iPhone or the lamp from your bedroom. Place that around your object to see what works best. Here, I've put it beside it. Then start taking your photos. Try use different angles to see what works. And here's my final image. Do you like it? I've added editing and I've put some snow and some mist in the bottom half of the photo. You try it too.
That was the big project. I hope you've all been able to go away, and you can, if you've not gone away and done it already, then click pause on the video and go and have a go at that big project. But Charlie, what are the roses and thorns in photography? So the things that are really good, and maybe the things that we should try to aim for, and then the things that might be a little bit difficult, or the things that maybe we should look out for and try not to do.
So the roses and thorns with photography, I think, as I've mentioned before, lighting is super important. So I don't know if you noticed in that video where I was moving the light around and I was experimenting with the different angles of the light which would hit the little penguin the best. We need to think about where we're putting our light so that we can see the scene in its most full and best light, essentially. Another rose would be to think about how we can maybe use editing. You know, we could use some apps to change that picture slightly and to make it come alive. There are some apps I really recommend that you can get on the iPad or the iPhone, which are called PixArt, where you can take your photograph and put filters over it and experiment with different shapes and different colours to rethink about how you can change the landscape of what you've made in your photograph, which is a really, really good tip. I use a lot of editing within my work because a lot of my work is kind of creating scenes that are very fantasy based and really interesting in terms of like fairies and
magic.
Things like that. Yeah, magical.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. A thorn, I would say, watch out again. Just watch out for lighting, and watch out that you're not using unflattering lighting. So, for example, examples of unflattering lighting. When I say unflattering, I mean bad lighting. Would be to use lighting maybe if you place the light under someone's chin, so that the light was coming up and it wasn't showing off their eyes and was creating really big shadows underneath their eyes. That would be bad lighting because we can't see their face.
I guess both good lighting is a rose and bad lighting is a thorn. And then we can use the editing apps to make our photos even better, which is a rose. Brill. And then finally, what, Charlie, is their mission should they choose to accept it?
Their mission, if they should choose to accept it, would be to take what they've already got from different classes, using the costumes that they've made and the characters that they've developed, and taking that on a bigger scale, thinking about how we've used that little composition before with the penguin that I talked about in the last task, and thinking about how we could use those characters to create a big scene.
So they can use their set design and their costume design and put something together, and so playing about with the foreground and the background that you were talking about and the lighting, like with the penguin, to take some pictures of their script.
Exactly that, and to create
Brilliant.
like narrative. Absolutely
amazing. Thank you so much, Charlie. I've really enjoyed learning about photography, and if you guys want to follow Charlie and you can see what she gets up to with all her creating the magical photos that she can create, then I'll leave some links to her Instagram channels and things here as well. But in the meantime, I hope you have a fun rest of your week, and we will see you next time. Thank you again, Charlie. Bye everyone.